Launch a fierce 5-step job search. That is the overview of this week's lecture in CTVR 280. We are on week 8. We're looking at chapter 13 this week. I am Angelo Ford, your professor. As usual, you can contact me via my email here at Saddleback, aford@saddleback.edu. You're welcome to reach out to me on my professional postings on TikTok, Instagram, or Twitter. And then, of course, check out the recommended letterboxd as usual. I love to push it every week because there's so many great films on there, and I want to make sure that you're watching those because I think they will help you in your job search. So definitely check those out if you are interested. Job search is job one. That really needs to set in for this week. It's kind of been the theme since we've started, but this week in particular, when you're actually looking to do a job search, it needs to be your full-time focus, your full-time job. Treat it just like you would a full-time job. Really approach it as if you are going to work in the morning. You have your coffee. You're going through and doing the whole thing routine, like we're going to talk about today. 5 steps, to focus on when you're looking for a job search, and really integrate that into a process that works for you. I've done it literally on every single job I've ever found, whether it was in medical device, EV field, entertainment, even in the military. Making the search your full-time job, your full-time focus is really can be the difference between finding a position that you're happy with and moving forward and not, and being, stuck in that zone of unhappiness. So really can't stress enough how much you should treat it like you're literally a full-time, 8-hour job, daily routine going through the process. So, what is the process? The quote unquote process. The book highlights a 5-step process, which I really do like. It's very similar to what I've always done in my job searches as well, what I've always been instructed on in my MBA program that I did, throughout any of the job searches I did in entertainment and the commercial sector as well. So, really good 5-step process. The first being reaching out. Call and email everybody you know in your network and let them know that you're looking for a job. If they're willing to help, take their help. Take the offer of help to help you find a job. But really, just like we looked at in the last lecture. With networking, it's building that awareness so that every single person in your network, you're enlisting them to help you with that search by even just making them aware of the fact that you're looking. Ask for them to pass your name on, even if it's to a person that may be able to help you, a friend of theirs that might be able to help you with your job search. Not even necessarily finding a job, but the search in general. You really just want to build as much awareness as you can, get as much input as you can, and reach out on those aspects. Checking sites. We're going to go through some of the job sites we've talked about already. Mandy.com, staffmeup.com. There are all kinds of them out there. Check on them. Look for jobs. Even Indeed, looking to see what's out there, following the ads. Cold calling, we'll talk about some more. Making those calls, they're painful. It's extremely uncomfortable. I get it. Picking up the phone or dialing on our cell phones these days and reaching out to somebody that we don't know is extremely uncomfortable and scary, but sometimes it works, and sometimes it works really well, and you get that job that nobody else would have gotten because you did pick up that phone. So don't fear it. Make it part of your routine. Following leads is next on the 5-step process. Every single lead that you get, whether it's a business card, a flyer that you see, you go to see a friend at USC or UCLA and there's a posting on the wall and you took that posting, a copy of it, or took a picture of it to, follow up on all of those. Treat it like, getting a job depends on it, because it absolutely does. Following up, following those leads is that step that closes the process. And, really, most likely, if you're going to find a job, it's by following up on a lead. The magical phone call out of nowhere, the ticket that, the Willy Wonka, golden ticket doesn't come in the mail. It does not happen like that. You have to be the one that drives it, and following the leads is what's going to get you there. And then the last one in the process is having a routine and following it daily. This 5 step process, going through it and every single day. Again, just like I said in the previous slide, making it your full time job, having this process that you follow that's going to help you find what you can do. And then finally, enlisting the help of a friend, which we'll talk about in a few slides as well. So, what does reaching out really entail? I mentioned, and making it announced in your network that you're looking for a position. You're going to hear it over and over and over again. Your friends are going to hear it over and over again. That's good. The more sick of people of your friends telling you, how much you're looking for a job, the better you're doing. Consider that a direct indicator. Um, you know, Looking online, looking on those job postings, going out to coffee with friends and just asking, who do they know in their network that might be able to connect you with somebody, or do they know somebody that has a job? Reaching out on anywhere you can possibly find within that network, to constantly be looking for help, looking for new contacts, or looking for new positions. That's really the goal of what you're doing with reaching out as much as you can. Join local clubs. The key is meeting new people. Whatever you can do to add to your network is just going to add to the probability of you actually finding a job. So joining a local club, whether it's a gym, a chess club, whatever you can find in your neighborhood that you're interested in, go be a part of that, and then meet new people and talk to them and tell them about the new job that you're looking for and how much you'd love their help or somebody that could help you. It all boils down to that, expanding your network, like our last chapter. And then, of course, what you're doing right now, taking a class. I know it kind of bites being online. You're not really seeing your classmates, but reach out to each other in those postings in Canvas. Really find ways to connect with each other. Maybe work on some of your projects together. I think I'm going to set that as a goal for myself, to give you a project that you have to work on something together with somebody else in the class to push that forward. Because my classes that are in person, I already see it. I see, like, on Wednesday nights, I teach a Film 101 class down at Saddleback. And I've already started to see the students starting to pair up and form crews and work on their projects together. And I love nothing more than that, because that's really where this whole idea of, growing your network is making a massive difference, when you're actually working on projects together, getting out there, putting your stuff out into the world, and, meeting new people. So again, the point of it is, first step is reaching out. Continue to process that network and build it as much as possible. We said checking the websites, checking your sites for the daily listings. A little bit of expansion on that. What does that actually mean? It means going on these job sites like we talked about, Showbiz Jobs, Mandy, Backstage, Indeed, whatever jobs you can find for your position, find them. Look all over the internet. Do Google searches for entertainment job postings. Wherever you can find those websites, go on them, subscribe to them, join them for free, build profiles in them, engage in them as much as you can. LinkedIn is an excellent source for this as well. There's specific sites that we haven't even covered. There's other ones we've talked about in lectures. It's your job to go and find them, make those applications, respond to ads, and then make sure you're absolutely checking for new postings daily, and you're coming up with a spreadsheet to track all of your postings. And whatever you're comfortable with applying per day. I usually like to do about 3 to 5 actual postings per day. Replies to an actual job. I know it can be really stressful, like going through some of these applications. I did a Disney application one time. It was like 15 pages full of different kind of things that they wanted to know about, from education to experience and all kinds of things like that. So I know it can be difficult. So whatever's comfortable to you, 3 to 5. If you're like, you're not really doing much else, and you're okay sitting there doing repeat inputs all day long, go ahead and do it all day long. That's what's going to make the difference in finding a job or not. The key is you're looking for new postings and you're actually engaging to apply for them. Next one is this insider job list concept. UTA, the United Talent Agency, is an example of this. There's different kinds of insider job lists that float around. to people, that are in that network, and they usually go by email. This is an example of one that I found on the internet that clearly says, please do not post this list anywhere, but it was posted on the internet, by the way. Um, so you can do a search for UTA job list, and you'll find it and see what it is. And then when you meet an insider contact, just ask them to, forward it to you, so that you can get a copy of it. Um, and definitely, definitely find it and then apply to those jobs. The problem with the UTA job list is it goes, it's an industry wide like distribution type of thing. And those jobs literally get filled usually in the first day when somebody reads them. But somebody has to get them. So, it might as well be you who at least tries for it. So find an insider, that's active in the industry. I don't currently get that list myself personally, but I have friends that do. So see if you can get a distribution from them or a heads up on something that might make sense. The UTA claims to this day that it doesn't exist, but clearly it does because it floats around every other week or so. Um, the last one is temp agencies. There are decent temp agencies out there. They typically look for more clerical administration type of jobs, not necessarily direct production jobs, but those can be great ways into production companies, studios, if you're interested, if you like doing that kind of work. I personally like doing clerical administrative type of work. I like doing spreadsheets and organizing data, making contacts, all that kind of stuff. So for me, it's a great bridge into a lot of these type of companies, and it could be for you as well. Don't turn off the possibility of going through a temp agency like Apple One, or there's all kinds of other ones out there. Just do a search for the best industry temp agencies, and like I found this little image when I was looking for something to plug in here, and there's a whole list of great ones up in LA. The key is that you're applying to ones up in LA, up in Hollywood. Don't try to apply for a temp agency down here in Orange County and expect that it's going to be entertainment related, because there's hardly any companies down here. Make sure that you're looking in LA, West Hollywood, Hollywood, Burbank, those type of areas for those positions. The list highlighted making cold calls. What does that actually mean? It means contacting hiring managers directly, picking up the phone and identifying a company, first of all, that you might want to work for. Going on IMDb, LinkedIn, various type of websites, maybe the company's website, and finding the contacts. I have IMDb Pro. I can go on IMDb Pro and I can find actual contacts for all kinds of studios and production companies. Their actual phone numbers. It's something like $125 a year. It's well worth paying if you're looking for a job to break into Hollywood. And if you can't pay that, find somebody like me who, buy me coffee, and, a friend that has it, and buy them coffee and sit there in the coffee shop and look through some of these jobs together with their, their login. But the idea is that you're finding the people that you can call, the hiring manager, somebody who has the authority to actually hire you, not some HR person, and then you're going to try to cold call that person and see if you can make a contact with them. Before you even call, you want to go through your notes, make sure you understand the company, what they do, the kind of positions that they have, how you overlap with that, and then give them a call, usually around 11 to noon, like before lunch or before the end of the day when people are wrapping up. And, whatever's the right time for you, you'll get the vibe of it, the way people are responding to you after a few times of doing it. But those are usually decent times to get a hold of somebody and actually touch base. When you do, contact them by the actual name, Mr. So and so, Mrs. So and so. Be confident about it. Speak with confidence. You're calling to ask for a job, Get over the fact that it's a cold call, that you don't even know this person. Just do them multiple times. After doing it a few times, it starts to become second nature and you lose the nervousness. When you introduce yourself, tell them that you're looking for a PA job. You're looking to be an assistant. Do you have any? First of all, ask them if they have a position for assistants. Do you have a production assistant job available? Do you have an assistant position available? And then if they say no, don't bug them about other. Do they know anybody else? This kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. Just say thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great day, and hang up and call another person. Spend your time calling more and more people, not trying to, you know, uh, badger a hiring manager who doesn't even really want to talk to you, and they're just like being polite on the phone. If there's no answer, leave a voicemail. Leave one voicemail. Don't call back, leaving multiple voicemails week after week after week. Just leave one voicemail, that same message. This is Angelo Ford. I'm looking for a position a production assistant position. I wonder if you have any available. If you do, please contact me at this number. And that's it. Move on. Again, work on making multiple calls is the real key. Call after call after call. If somebody says yes, share your qualifications in 15 seconds. Tell them why you'd be a good fit for it, and then ask for a time that you can discuss it at further detail. And then hopefully that works out, and you set up an arrangement with them to come in for an actual interview. This can be insanely scary. Yes, it is an old school way of doing things, but it still works great to this day. And I can tell you, most people aren't going to do it. And when there's something like this that most people aren't going to do, and you do it confidently, highly likely that there's a chance of getting a job from that, or at least a really good contact. So definitely make those cold calls. Don't be afraid of them. You're making cold calls. You're spreading out to your network. You're pushing out applications on these websites. You're going and joining clubs and meeting new people. The next part is following up on all and any of these leads that come of all these things that you're doing. How often should you follow up? Every 2 or 3 weeks for a larger company, for the larger studios, the larger production companies, that's perfectly fine. You're not going to bother anybody too much, following up every 2 to 3 weeks. Once a month for these smaller companies, it's going to be the same person who's answering the phone every time. In the bigger company, you might get a different person every time you call. Smaller company, you're probably going to get the same assistant, and she or he is going to be like, "Look, dude, I told you last week, we didn't have a call, anything. Stop calling me," and you're going to burn that opportunity rather than just, "Hey, I've called last month. I'm just wondering if there's any opportunity, or if it looks like things aren't going to pan out, and I shouldn't call you next month." Be direct on all these calls. Ask people these kind of questions, and if things don't work out, just keep moving on. New. Always try to keep the calls to less than 15 seconds. Don't try to expand it out, waste people's time. Be as direct as you can. Ask if they're about the job, for the job, or hang up. When you're dealing with an HR department, it's a little bit different. They're expecting to get multiple calls from people, and that is kind of their whole deal. If you're calling a production company, it's not necessarily some assistant's job to, be taking info on people that are applicants versus HR. It's absolutely their job to deal with all the applicants. So, feel free to check in with an HR department on a weekly basis to see how things are going or if anything's moving forward. And if they're not, again, just focus on where the productivity can actually help, and that's building your network, applying for new jobs, making more cold calls. In following up with all of these things, keep a database. That could just be a simple Excel spreadsheet. It could be a book, that you write things down on who you've called today or what time, some notes about them. Track all of your applications, all of your leads, any information related to your job search. Keep notes on these positions in this database, in this Excel spreadsheet. I like to just have a nice Google sheet with the name of the company, when I applied, when I called, any kind of information that's applicable to that line. And just keep building that, and then you can always cross something out or make it a grayed out if it's a lead that's not going to pan out. As you're doing this, always look for new connections. Investigate within your personal network to see if somebody knows somebody at one of these companies you've applied to, and then maybe make a backdoor connection through that friend to have that person check in on. I can't even tell you. I've literally been hired at 3 or 4 jobs because I found out that a friend had a friend that worked at that company who simply walked in and said, "Hey, I have a friend, Angelo Ford, who submitted a job. Have you had a chance to look at his resume?" "Oh no, hold on," And the hiring manager shuffles through a whole pile of 500 resumes and pulls mine out. "Oh, Angelo looks pretty good. Yeah, we'll definitely give him a call." Sometimes that's all it takes. That's the magic, of connecting your network through something or in a backdoor channel like that's totally appropriate. They're just bringing it to the top to look at it. They may have never even have gotten to it if that person didn't say anything. So always be looking to see how your connections connect to other people. LinkedIn is an absolutely social media in general is a great way to do this. Look on people's Facebook pages, look on their Instagram pages, their Twitter, their TikToks, and see who they're connected to in certain companies. And then just call that friend or take them out for coffee and ask them, hey, would you mind, reaching out to your friend Bob who works at Sony, to see if they've had a chance to look at my resume? It doesn't hurt to do. No, I would absolutely do that for you if that was if that was me being asked to do that. So making connections to those gatekeepers, those hiring managers, if possible, is a key element. And then lastly, persevere. Months and months and months can go by and you won't get a call back. You won't hear anything back. Don't take it personally. Don't give up. Don't fear that, you're never going to get hired. You have to keep fishing because your career absolutely depends on it. I like to say that entertainment, Hollywood is um, perseverance of attrition. The people who persevere are the ones who move forward. I see it all the time. Friends get hired to go do something else. Friends go have a family, have a baby. They get married. They get a much better paying job. They find a new interest. They move somewhere else. All kinds of different reasons why there's attrition of people trying to get these jobs. The people that get them are the ones that keep trying and keep moving forward. So persevere, find something to keep you healthy, like a gym membership or being part of a club and something you have enjoyment in, a hobby outside of this whole entertainment game that can help your mental health stay where it needs to be, because it is a game of perseverance, and continually following up with that is what's going to help. Setting up a personal routine, like we talked about in the list, is critical. Checking those emails every day. Look for your replies to your applications, network connections, new job postings. Reply to everything. Send your mom an email. Tell her you're doing great. Send your dad an email. Tell him you're doing great. A cousin, a friend. Try to make a new connection every day, but check your emails every day. Send emails every day. Make that a part of your personal routine. Check your voicemails. Don't miss an opportunity because you don't ever check your voicemails. Make sure you're going through them. Sometimes the calls might be from, like, it'll look like it's from a spam call and you didn't answer it and it actually went to voicemail, and oh, that's actually a studio that's calling me, and I didn't notice because it looked like a spam number to my phone. Note any voicemails that you have related to the job search. Research anybody that calls you, any companies that are interested in you. Do your homework and keep clean voicemail that you're going through there. Make sure that you answer any ads that you see. I mentioned, might see them in like a school lounge, or you might see them on one of these websites or LinkedIn. Wherever you're looking for these new job postings, continue to browse for them daily. Track it, and then again, you research more. Wash, rinse, repeat every single day. And then those cold calls, make those calls, spend at least an hour a day. Most people aren't going to do this. Almost everybody won't do it. There may be one or two people out of this entire class that is actually going to pick up the phone and make cold calls. And I'm going to tell you right now, most people aren't going to get hired. So if this is a way that has a potential to get you out of that group that's not going to get hired, it's in your best interest to put whatever reservations you have about cold calling aside and just make those calls. Enlist a friend. Absolutely. Meet a friend. Ask a friend to help you with the job search, and by help you, I mean to hold you accountable. It could be a wife, a husband, a friend, a cousin. Just find somebody that you can meet with on a weekly basis. Buy them a cup of coffee, buy them a bagel, whatever. Sit down in your favorite place and just catch up. And it's healthy for you. Tell them what you've done for the week. Tell them what you're looking to do for next week. Talk about some new goals. Ask them to, just keep you honest that you're actually trying to do this job search on a weekly basis. This can be a massive help for you over the long term, especially when things aren't working out really fast. Having somebody who's going to keep you accountable and make sure you're doing this list on a daily basis and you're staying with it could be a key element again between hired and not hired. So, look through your friends list, pick a friend that you trust, you like, that, you're not going to aggravate. I have a couple friends that I know I can always do this kind of stuff with. I'm constantly helping them with their ideas or their businesses. So for me, asking for something like this is small to them. And it's actually kind of nice to connect on a weekend, with a coffee Saturday morning or something to go through how things are going on a weekly basis. So find a friend, have them hold you accountable. For the Chapter 13 exercises on page 145, we're looking this week at choosing 3 companies, research those companies, cold call those companies, and ask them for their job. I think that's a great exercise for you to do. If you're serious about trying to find employment in Hollywood, absolutely, this is the best path of you finding a job, doing this simple exercise. And then number 2, having an accountability check, having a friend that's going to make sure you're reaching out, that you're sharing your goals with, and that you're checking in with her or him weekly, to keep you sane. My little yoga uh, emoji character up here, is maintaining his mental health through, peace and coffee with a friend who's holding him accountable. It sounds silly, right? But it's super, super important to have that in your life. Even if it's a virtual thing, it's better than nothing. When this whole COVID thing struck 2 years ago, my friends and I would get together, my close friends that I hang out with once a week. We go, a bunch of guys, we hang out on Sunday, we go to a movie usually, and we have coffee, and we do exactly what I'm saying here with each other. Um, when COVID struck, we continued to do that. At first, we were doing it online on Zoom. We would literally have a cup of coffee and we'd chat with each other on Sunday mornings. And then when things loosened up a bit, we would go to a park and we would meet outside. We'd bring some lawn chairs and we would do it in a park. It's just a great way to hold your friends and yourself accountable in those weekly check-ins. So, 2 really good exercises there in the book for Chapter 13, and I highly recommend those ones. For a recap, as we've said before, it's extremely competitive, ridiculously competitive to get a job in entertainment sector. But you know what? There's new jobs every single day, and somebody's getting those jobs. There's new lotteries every other week, right? Somebody has to win the lottery eventually. That's just the way it works. So why shouldn't it be you? You can increase your odds tremendously if you have a list like this, reaching out, checking websites, doing cold calls, following leads, and having a set routine that you do every day or every other day, whatever works for your schedule. Dramatically increase your odds of finding employment in the entertainment sector. And you can be the person that gets that job. So, yes, it's extremely competitive, but somebody has to get it. That's it for today. Again, I appreciate your time. Check in on Canvas, read Chapter 13, do the exercises, and we'll touch base again next week. I hope you have a great week. Thanks for tuning in today, and be safe out there. See you soon.